for the fitness, stay for the comedy.
Absolutely. Especially, well, we're recording this on a Thursday. Come Thursday, my coaching ability, you're not getting my best, like, unfortunately, to the clients.
No, but sometimes they seem to respond better.
They do. Yeah.
It's like we're on the same wavelength. Like,
yeah.
They're run down, tired, been a big week.
Mm-hmm.
We're run down, tired, it's been a big week. We all know what we're here to do. Let's just have a good time, have a bit of fun with it.
And in a weird way, it probably makes us coach better because we're a bit more clear, a bit more direct with our message.
Yeah.
And that probably seems to do the work. And then we fill the other part of the noise with absolute dribble.
Absolutely. But that, it makes it fun.
It does make it fun.
At the end of the day, like, I think we both believe like fitness should be fun.
Absolutely. And if the clients are laughing at me for being a bit silly, then I'll play my role.
100%. 100%. I have this conversation with people all the time when they're first coming in. But if you hate what you're doing exercise-wise, you go into a gym and you go, I hate this.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's not exactly a mystery that you can't stick to doing it.
No.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I think we always pose the question is, like, outside of the discussion we're having in terms of training, what do you like to do? What's something that gets you really pumped up, really excited?
Yeah. And let's make it as close to that as we can.
Yeah.
If you love, what's big on Netflix? Not that Baby Ranger.
I was going to say.
Great show for those who haven't seen it. But
you're not watching it for a bit of comedy relief.
No, not at all. And that was the thing. Like, I went into it expecting it to get funny. And no spoilers, but it does not really get funny. But, you don't have to psych yourself up to watch Netflix at night.
No, that's it. Exactly.
You're looking forward to it. You're like, great. I just want to unwind. I want to relax. Cool. It's easy to do. So as close as we can get, fitness to that, well, then the more successful it's going to be.
Absolutely. Part of your day-to-day weekly routine.
Yeah. I was having an interesting, I'm just going to go on 10.
Love it.
Conversation with someone I spoke to yesterday. So he hasn't even done a workout yet. I had a really good conversation with him. And his thing was, he runs his own business as well.
Yep.
And because of that, he hasn't necessarily prioritized his health and fitness. He's also got kids in the family. Like, it's a pretty common scenario. And for him, it was this idea of, he wasn't even really sure like what he loved to do, but it was more this idea that he just needs an outlet, something that's a different environment, the third space analogy. So you've got your work environment, you've got your home environment. Well, in what environment are you going to de-stress and unwind? Because you don't want to take all the work from, all the stress from your work day straight into your home. Yeah. Right. It's like, you're probably not going to be the best partner, the best father, the best anything else. And vice versa, right? Like, if you've had you've got some family dramas going on, you don't want to walk into your workplace. Yeah. And you take it out on everybody else working there. So having that, different environment, that third space to actually de-stress, have that outlet, really important.
It is. And I suppose it's, sometimes you don't realize, one, how important it is, but more so realize that you actually need that.
Absolutely.
Because you're so, he's in the bubble in the moment in that time, and all the emotions are hard to sort of make sense of.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we haven't really spoken about this. Previously we have, but like being able to properly switch off, and not take work stuff home, and like you said, try and be the best coach, business partner, but at the same time try and be the best husband and father. Like, you're playing multiple roles, but being able to actually switch off and then go into that other mode is really hard.
Massively. Yeah, I think that's a really important point. And I think a lot of people, should be able to relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of those things when it comes to whatever you want to call it, the buzzword, like self-care, having an outlet, unwinding, switching off, all, like, in my mind, they're all very much the same thing. Yeah. And it's something that I've always found, I don't necessarily feel the benefits of doing it, which I think a lot of people fall into this category. So it's hard to prioritize, because, you go, I'm going to go do something to relax. And it's not like as soon as you do it, I just feel fantastic.
How good, this is so worth it. Yeah.
But it's more a case, if you don't do it, you start to notice it. Yeah. Right. So you start to notice, I haven't been doing it. And I have been more stressed. I have had a shorter fuse. I am absolutely unable to deal with things as well as I want to. So I think it's an important point.
Yeah. And again, it's finding what that is for you, but knowing that is the vehicle that's ultimately going to help you be the best version of yourself, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess on that note, we should probably pivot this episode.
Well, yeah, we were going to go in one direction, but maybe we keep that for the...
We could just go on with what this might look like. This is really a good one. Not as sexy a topic, I know, as, how to get shredded in 6 days and all the rest of it. But I think it's really important because when we come to consider what most people's goals really are, of course, we want to be healthy, you want to look good naked, all that type of stuff. We fully support you in those endeavors. But the mental part of it, like the psychological part of it, is really important.
It's massive because everything from there is probably a flow on. So, if you look at mindset, it's really just outlook and perception of you and I guess ultimately the person you want to be and everything like that. And it can either set you on a positive sort of trajectory or can then have a negative effect as well if, you allow those, or, in terms of, the thoughts and everything like that. We can choose how we react in those moments as well when we feel like, I guess we're not having a growth and mindset. But it is, one of those things where, if you can find those opportunities or have that mindset that's going to be more growth opposed to fix, it can be really powerful things in setting the wheels in motion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I guess if you wouldn't mind just quickly going through, you're really good at this stuff, like the difference between, what is a growth mindset and what is a fixed mindset? And why is it that we want to, as much as possible, sit in that growth bucket?
Yeah, I think it's big because, again, your mindset, like I said before, is really going to drive your emotions, how you feel about things, but also then it's going to heavily influence your behavior. So if we know that, we can sort of flip the script a little bit in the narrative to work with us. And again, having that growth mindset is really going to be a person who's going to be finding opportunities when there, I guess, seemingly is none. But also looking at things from a optimistic point of view in, okay, well, this didn't work. What did I learn from that? How can I do it better next time? Seeing, I guess, challenges as not setbacks per se, but a way to, again, how can I navigate around this next time? How can I, learn from it and then take the steps forward? So it's really a person who's going to find opportunities and grow from them. Whereas a fixed is very going to be much that sort of closed mindset. It's that, why me mentality a little bit, and sort of seeing as, other people's success, not as motivation, inspiration to want to do the same, but to be threatened and then, feel insecure about that as well. So obviously we're big on preaching for a growth mindset and instilling those little things in, but it can be really easy to fall into a fixed mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, actually, maybe you said this to me for the first time with the mindset stuff, but it's the way I've always thought of it is the fixed mindset is somebody who believes that everything is just happening to them.
Yeah.
So it's like they're a passenger, They're not necessarily thinking about, or they don't want to think about, well, what can I actually do about it? It's like, oh, my work's way too busy. There's no way I could possibly do it. Whereas, okay, people with a fixed mindset are going, all right, work's busy. Work's probably busy because I'm doing something important. It's a busy time of year. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at when I can find a small amount of time, even if it's not, tons of time to actually get something happening. And it can be, as you said, it can be a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Because, don't think that we're sitting here preaching, going, oh,
absolutely.
We never have those like woe is me moments. We absolutely do. I think the biggest thing is once you're aware of it, you can kind of call yourself out when you catch yourself slipping into it. It's like, hang on a minute. Is the way that I'm responding to this the way that I would want to? Like, is it actually, this is it? Or is it me potentially making it worse in my own mind?
Yeah. And I think that's huge. And once you can feel the benefit of that and knowing that you are very much in control. And as much as, again, we're not sugarcoating to say that life's all sunshine and rainbows and, bad things aren't going to happen to good people. And, it's the reality is it's unfortunately things are going to happen. And sometimes life's going to suck and it's going to throw curveballs at you. Like, let's be honest.
Yep.
But like you said, I think the really powerful thing is if you in that moment know that you can still choose how you react and respond, and that is going to be a big driver for you.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely massive. Because something that I've been heavily diving into recently, is this idea that I guess, overall happiness, how we feel about the world, how we feel about ourselves, it's not actually dependent on what's happening. It's dependent on how we feel about what's happening.
True.
Right?
Yep.
How we perceive it.
Yep.
And then that's where, if you look at it that way, that growth versus fixed mindset becomes really important.
Yeah.
Because you could have the same person with the exact same scenario, like they're living in the same city, similar job, all the rest of it. The mindset can be the difference between someone saying, yeah, I love my life, and someone, saying, no, my life sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And at the surface, yeah, well, actually, looks pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I'm big on, I think both of us and the whole team here, everything we do, when we're sitting down with clients, like we're always asking them about like what's going well.
Yeah.
Getting them to acknowledge, hey, things are good. And it's quite funny, like even when we've had, little gratitude journals and stuff like that. And one of the things is, name one thing you're looking forward to.
Yep. Yep.
And then inevitably someone will say, there's nothing I'm looking forward to. And then my favorite thing, and I'm a massive smartass, but I go, I'm going to make you a bet. I'm going to bet you $10,000. Then I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Within those 3 questions, I'm going to find something that you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
And like obviously they back down at that point.
They're like, oh, yep.
Because it's like, what? You've got no one in your life that's good, nothing in your life that's good. Of course you do.
Yeah.
You're just down in the dumps and you've slipped into that fixed mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's that, or poor me, why me mentality a little bit. And it is one of those ones where I think it allows, like doing the, again, people can see it as a bit wishy-washy and all that sort of stuff. But for us, some of the gratitude stuff and the mindfulness stuff is just staying present in the moment and appreciating, acknowledging what it is and how, fortunate we are. Because that then just helps, I guess, one, fuel the motivation a little bit, but also that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think something that I've probably changed my tune on a little bit since we've obviously been doing this a very long time.
Yes,
so we've changed our mind about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the self-care mindfulness angle, it really doesn't matter what it is. It matters if it makes sense to the person and if it works for the person.
Absolutely.
So people will ask sometimes, oh, well, should I meditate? I mean, maybe. I think it's worth you trying. Do I meditate every day? No.
Yeah.
I've gone through phases where I've tried it. I've tried real hard.
Yeah, I remember.
But sitting still for that amount of time, not necessarily my strong suit. So I struggled. I'm not going to say I would never try it or whatever. There's times when I just like sit there, and then having spoken to some people that are more in that meditation space, they'll say, well, meditation actually doesn't have to be sitting still, closing your eyes and visualizing. You can be doing a task and meditating. It's really just that flow state of being present in the moment. And that's what it is. So you find different ways to do it. And then some people, the gratitude journal is a really big thing because it just forces them to think about all the good stuff that's going on in their life. And guess what? If you start your day that way, you're probably going to have a better day.
Yeah.
And then you've got like journaling, exercises like that. So it's really about finding what that thing, the thing that best fits you, I think.
Yep.
And for everybody, there's going to be something.
Yeah, it could be as simple, like for some people it might be baking, for other people it might be playing PlayStation. Like, people say, oh, you shouldn't be playing. It's like, well, at the end of the day, if that's something that you feel is something that you can do for yourself, and like you said, it's going to help that process, then go for it.
Absolutely. And I think with the mindset angle as well, something that I think is really like when I first heard this, it was one of those like statements, but a lot of the time I think we speak to people and they believe certain things about themselves, like what kind of person they are.
Yeah.
This is a big one. Like, I'm just not that kind of. I've never been, especially in our space, working in health and fitness. People that aren't super healthy and aren't super fit, well, they believe certain things about themselves, and if they continue to believe it, well, it's probably going to be harder for you to go and do the things because you've got this self-limiting belief there. And when you think about it, it's like what dictates what type of person you are. Like it's like, I don't know. It's like, well, actually, what you do is what dictates what kind of person you are, right? It doesn't really necessarily matter what you think per se. Like, of course, thoughts, actions, all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to gloss over that. But if you go, I'm just not like a fitness person, my counter would be like, all right, cool. Like, let's say you came and did 3 workouts a week, and I sat down with you again in like 3 months' time, and you've been doing it the whole time. would we call you a fitness person?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying you need to turn into a gym junkie and, take selfies in the mirrors and flex your biceps. Like, we don't even have mirrors, but it's like, well, by definition, you probably would be.
Yeah. Yep.
And like the same with like, I just can't stay. I just can't be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, let's break down what consistency is. Okay, let's try and find a way for you to start doing these things. And then let's go to the next stage, which is let's find a way for you to keep doing these things.
Yeah.
Because could we agree that if you've been doing these things for X amount of time, that you would be a consistent person?
Yeah.
Because you've been doing the thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And framing it like that, because for some people, you'll say fixed versus growth mindset, and instantly they'll get it. Other people, it's going glass half full, glass half empty. It's all these different ways. And then sometimes it's simply saying to somebody, I hear what you're saying. You haven't been able to do it before, but the type of person you are is just dictated on your behavior. So you haven't done it up until this point. So of course you're not going to be a fitness person because you've never done the thing.
Yep.
So what's missing? Doing the thing.
Absolutely. And I think you nailed it at the start there. It's like, it's like humor me for a second and get really clear on, I guess, the type of person that you wish to be and wish to become. And then we talk about, and something we're big on is, we talk about those process-driven goals, those daily non-negotiables, but it's more just then the actions, but then aligning them with that person you wish to become and just proving it to yourself, stacking more of those desirable actions in the win column or the column that you want over time. And then before you know it, it's like, I am like, what's that? The actual quote, I can't remember. It's not, the goal isn't to write more, it's to be a writer.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's the identity-based habits that we really want to drive home, and that is where those daily actions, in terms of proving it to yourself, are going to be the real powerful drivers.
Absolutely, I think that's a good analogy because if you think about it, it's like, cool, I want to write every day. No, I want to be a writer. It's like, well, what defines a writer? Somebody who writes, right? It's like the exact same thing, and you can apply that to anything. Even it's like, whether it's fit or whether it's like, I'd like to be a confident person. It's like, cool, well, what's a confident person? Somebody probably who acts in a confident manner.
Yep.
Right? And like, I know there's probably people out there that would disagree with this one, but I don't believe that you become that person by like chanting in the mirror. Like,
no, it's singing Kumbaya.
Yeah, it's probably going to involve putting yourself out there, getting uncomfortable, and then proving to yourself over and over and over again that you can do it.
Yep.
And you can apply that exact same logic to pretty much anything.
Yeah.
It's like, the type of person you want to be. Okay, well, what's going to mean that I am that person? It's like, well, acting in a way that type of person would act. And then, once you start doing it, it becomes easier to continue to do it.
That's it. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, yes, initially, you're probably going to have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like there is going to be that fear of, okay, can I be this person in a way? But like you said, over time, it's going to feel more natural and you're going to start to, I guess, identify as that person because you've got all this evidence of, okay, previous behaviors, experiences, everything like that are just stacking wins in that column.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once you've done that over time, right, it's not that you're aware of it, but it just becomes so unrealistic that you would still believe those things about yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's so much evidence right in front of you.
Yeah. Yep.
It'd be like, I'm just so bad with money. I've just never been somebody that's like, money savvy.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. Well, what if you did, I mean, I'm not a finance guru, so apologies to the listeners.
It's like, don't put it in the bank.
Yeah, buried in the backyard, of course. Put it all in Bitcoin. No, but, it's like, all right, cool. You're bad with money.
Yeah.
I'm just really bad with money. It's like, all right, cool. Well, what would somebody that's good with money do? It's like, all right, cool. Well, when I get paid, I'm probably going to put X amount into my savings and do this and do that. Okay, well, let's, again, troubleshoot some ways for you to do that. Because if you start doing that, well, over time, you're going to be stared in the face and be like, well, I probably can't say that I'm really bad with money anymore.
No.
Because I've managed to do, X, Y, and Z that I didn't think I was able to do.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that, belief in itself is kind of broken.
Yeah. And, it can be whatever it is in terms of you wanting to become that version of yourself. But once you're able to do that, then the flow-on effect to so many other aspects of your life, like whether that's you not being a consistent person who trains or whatever like that, if you're able to do that, then it's amazing the flow-on of that in terms of the self-confidence and everything like that to be able to do other things as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to throw, hopefully this one last analogy will summarize our mindset thing a little bit. the goldfish analogy. So I love this one. So if you put a goldfish in a bowl, it will grow to a certain size based on the size of the bowl.
Yep.
Right? So smaller the bowl, the smaller that fish will be. So people think, oh, goldfish are always really small. And then sometimes, when you go like, I don't know, national parks or whatever, and there's those giant goldfish.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, because they're not in a tiny bowl. It's not a different species of fish. It's a different environment that they're in.
There you go. I've never heard that.
Right? No. So that's a really good analogy. It's like, yeah, if you keep yourself in this tiny little bowl, which, I suppose, okay, it's safer, it's more comfortable. But yeah, over time, you're absolutely limiting like how big you can grow. And yeah, I guess how much you can develop yourself overall.
Yep.
And if you want to grow, you need to find a bigger bowl or a bigger pond, or I would say ocean, but I don't think goldfish can swim in the ocean, so that doesn't work. So like, definitely a bigger pond.
Yep. And I guess that's really opened that up in terms of finding the right environment as well.
Oh yeah.
You've
got to take baby steps here, right? It's not like, oh yeah, like I'm not very good. I'm lacking a bit of confidence. So we're like, yeah, go sign up to public speaking in front of 20,000 people. No, don't do that, right?
Absolutely.
Let's start small here. And build yourself up. But yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, especially before we talked about wanting, depending on what that person is that you wish to become, if you can surround yourself with that type of person, but also people who have that same or the desired, qualities and behaviors that you want to be able to capture, then naturally that's going to rub off on you and you're going to want to replicate and do the same. So that can be, sort of tricking yourself into that desired behavior without you really getting too much out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Like the environment's massive. We talk about this a lot. Like whatever you can do to stack the odds in your favor. It's like, okay, you want to read more, you want to become a reader. I guarantee you, if you go to the library every week, and you're just surrounded by people that are sitting there quietly reading, what, you think you're not going to read? Of course you're going to read.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do when you're there? And the same thing, I think, the benefit of gyms, or especially like training gyms, right, where there's like coaching and there's other people training, and like you can't just go there and fluff about and do nothing. It's like, well, yeah, of course, because you're surrounded by people and you're in that environment that's going to cause you to do the thing.
Yeah.
And we know the biggest barrier here is actually doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. I guess we'll leave them with some practical tips here.
Yep.
And I'll briefly throw some shade for listeners as well. Because as much as we've given them a big empowering monologue here, is it a duologue if there's two people doing it? I guess it's just a podcast.
It's just, I was like, I guess it's a duologue.
Yeah. If you are unhappy with your current situation, but you're so stuck in that fixed mindset and you're not willing to do anything to step outside that comfort zone to change it, well, you don't really get to complain about it.
No.
Because in what universe is you doing nothing going to change the situation? The same way that, we said, if you do the thing and you challenge your own beliefs, you prove to yourself that actually
I can do it.
You can do it.
Yep.
Well, if you never do it, what then are you proving to yourself? You're just confirming that you can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's, if someone comes in and says to me, there's no way I can do this, I'm probably going to say to them, yeah, you're possibly right. Right. If you believe that, like, I can't do it for you. So we need to find a way, and you need to be open to at least trying.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. No, I've got nothing to add there. I think that's, spot on. And I think in terms of, it's one of those ones where, it's going to come across where it's like, it's the definition of insanity, where it's like, if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, then, you're not going to get too far. So it doesn't need to be drastic change. It just needs to be small change. And like you said, again, that is going to be better. And it's going to feel like, again, you get out of your comfort zone, but over time, you're going to feel more comfortable. And the momentum from that is going to be massive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think going back to, you say, like, we don't need to go like a 0 to 100 here.
Yeah.
Baby steps. And I know we started speaking mostly about mindset, self-care. That's the reason I think we started with that as well. And it naturally flows in is, well, if you are stressed to the eyeballs every day and you're in pure survival mode, it's pretty hard to comprehend doing anything. As logical as it might be, like we could say, hey, yeah, well, if you go and do some exercise, you're probably going to feel better about yourself and be less stressed and be better at managing it. People know that, but it's just hard to actually do it. So when it comes to, I guess, the self-care side, the mindset side, what if you had to break it down to like a couple of things, like order of priority to get yourself started, what would they be?
Well, I think, again, from a really like simple thing that you can do is just find something that you enjoy doing. Whatever that might be. It could be exercise related. It could just be a hobby that you enjoy doing, and do that, because if you do that, one, you're probably going to feel better. So your mood's going to be better.
Absolutely.
And then you're probably more prone to go train, go for a walk, be more social. You know, again, I think it's, you know, people say that it's the domino effect of that. And a lot of the time it is going to be really powerful. So again, that can help just sort of shift your mindset a little bit into that growth mindset, where you're just going to be embracing a bit more of those, I guess, uncomfortable scenarios that, you know, you might find yourself in, or naturally that, you know, there are things that you might find a little bit challenging initially. But I think it's finding something that, one, you enjoy doing, and then the positive things from there, it's obviously going to encourage you to want to do the other things as well. Yeah,
I like that. I guess if I was going to tack onto it, and what I'm going to speak about is actually tacking on. So this is good. You know, we speak about this idea of habit stacking. But, you know, if there's something that you enjoy doing, it's like, well, okay, how can you find ways to do it more? Right. So, and this is where we're going to go like real simple things that you enjoy doing. People will sometimes be like, oh, I just love like hiking in the wilderness. Well, that's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
More power to you. But if you're already telling me you push for time, like how are you going to get out to the wilderness? Like that's not...
Yeah, that's always going to be the limiting factor, isn't it?
So like as much as it needs to be attractive, you know, we want it to be convenient. And then you want that visual thing, so you're reminded to do it. So real simple things, I threw out practical examples of like non-traditional self-care. All right, like what's your favorite kind of music? Okay, when you're in the car, just blast that. I know in that third space book, he talks about having a client who used to blast like Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. Like this guy would like drop his kids off, and then he's like, great, I've got to hightail it into the office. And his thing to get is like, all right, kids have been screaming at me. Like the house is absolute chaos. I've dropped the little demons off. And then from there, he's just like, all right, presses play. And it's just like the whole of Queen Bohemian. And he's just like singing that as loud as he wants. And then after that, he's like, oh, I feel much better about myself. Like, real simple. I think video games that you went to before are a great one. It's like, I've had clients do that before. They're like, I just love shooting zombies on Call of Duty. I was like, hey, you know what? Makes you feel better about yourself. You go nuts.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably don't spend the whole weekend doing it.
No,
but
like there's diminishing returns here. But
but no, absolutely. No, you're spot on. And it's, I think you nailed it in terms of the habit stacking as well. Is just, again, whatever your current is a current behavior that you're already doing. Again, if you can then tack that on with whatever that desired behavior is. So it's like if you can sort of be like, okay, well, if I play 20 minutes of a game or whatever it might be, then I'm going to go for the walk, or I'm going to do some exercise or whatever it might be. I think that's a good way to do it for sure.
Absolutely. And I think with the traditional self-care stuff as well, you know, like I'm all for people trying out different things. Like there's the apps and things for meditation. The two most popular, Headspace and Calm. So they both do free versions, I believe. Download them, try it out. There's 3-minute versions, I think, like, so real fast ones. And then when it comes to the journaling stuff, as much as I go, you should try journaling and stuff, I even think the act of just like sitting there and going, set an alarm on your phone that can say gratitude, it can say whatever the hell you want. And you don't have to write it down. You can just spend 60 seconds and just think mentally like, okay, what am I grateful for today? Just start with that. Doesn't have to be anything drastic.
No, it's just anything that in a way slows you down.
100%.
To take a deep breath and just refocus on what the important things are, really.
Absolutely. And, you know, from there, thinking about, okay, well, what am I trying to do? What kind of person do I want to be? And what would that kind of person need to do? And then how can you do it? But I think step one is definitely, as you say, slowing down and finding time to focus on what actually matters.
Love it.
And I guess because we're very professional, we could link into in the show notes with those apps, and also one of those mindfulness or mindset templates that we've got.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of journaling and some gratitude stuff is something you want to potentially look to add into your current daily routine that you think would be helpful. We've got a really simple, easy framework that's a little less, I guess, wishy-washy than most journalings.
Yeah, I mean...
Journals out there.
We're not yogis.
No.
And I think the thing is as well, like, if you Google like mindfulness, straight away, you're going to get like 4 million results. And that's sometimes, we talk about this a lot, like that's going to stop you from doing it. So I'm not saying ours is the best one out there.
No.
There probably is a better one. But you know what? We're going to put our one in the link so you can just click it and do it. And then at least you're doing something.
Yep. Love it.
We're good guys like that.
Keep kicking goals, team.